Welcome back to our YouTube channel Lark Immigration. This is Jia Verma from Lark Immigration, and today we are going to talk about direct indirect speech. In this video you will get to know all about this thing and your all doubts will be cleared till the end of this video. Let's start without wasting any time. So first of all, when we want to describe what someone said, it means now we are talking about the direct speech. That when we want to describe what someone said, one option is to use direct speech. We use direct speech when we simply repeat what someone says, putting the phrase between speech marks. Like, Paul came in and said, "I'm really hungry." It is very common to see direct speech used in books or in newspaper articles. For example, the local MP said, "We plan to make this city a safer place for everyone." As you can see that with the direct speech, it is common to use the verb to say, said in the past, but you can also find other verbs used to indicate direct speech such as ask, reply and shout. For example, when Mrs. Dias opened the door, I asked, "Have you seen Lee?" She replied, "No, I haven't seen him since lunchtime." The boss was really angry and shouted, "Why isn't he here? He hasn't finished that report yet." Like this. So this is known as the direct speech. Now let's talk about the indirect one. So when we want to report what someone said without speech marks and without necessarily using exactly the same words, we can use indirect speech, also called reported speech. For instance, "We are quite cold in here." They say that they are cold. When we report that someone says in the present simple as in the above sentence, we normally don't change the tense. We simply change the subject. However, when we report things in the past, we usually change the tense by moving it one step back. For instance, in the following sentence, the present simple becomes the past simple in the indirect speech. Like, "I have a new car." This is the direct speech. And in the indirect speech, it will be, "He said he had a new car." So now let's talk about giving order. When you give someone an order, you use the imperative form, which means using just the verb without a subject. For instance, "Call me back later." "Have a seat." "Don't do that." To report an order, we use tell and the infinitive of the verb. For instance, "You told me to call you back later." "He told me to have a seat." "She told us not to do that." When we are requesting someone at that time, we normally use words like can, could or will. For example, "Could you call me back later?" "Will you have a seat?" "Can you not do that, please?" To report a request, we use the verb to ask and the infinitive form of the verb. For example, "You asked me to call you back later." "He asked me to have a seat." "She asked us not to do that." Like this. So now we are going to talk about conversation of direct to indirect, like all about time. For instance, in the direct speech, we say now. But if we convert it into the indirect, it will be then. Next is here. In the indirect, it will be there. Today, that day. Tomorrow, the next day. Last week, the previous week. This, that. Tonight, that night. Ago, before. Thus, so. Come, go. Hence, thence. Next and following. Now let's talk about the modals. When we convert it into the direct from the direct to indirect, it will be like this: can, could, may, might, must, had to or would have to, should, might, could, would, ought to. The last 5 modals that I have told you, like should, might, could, would and ought to, these will remain same in the direct speech, also in the indirect speech. Here comes pronouns. In the indirect speech, I will be used as he or she. You will be as he, she, they. We, they will remain same. He, she, it will, these three also remain same in the indirect speech and also the direct speech. If I talk about the us will be changed into the them, our, their, his, her and its. These three also remain same in the indirect speech if we change it from the direct one. Now let's talk about the direct to indirect tenses. If the reporting verb is in the past tense, then the direct sentence is changed into its past tense. The tense of the direct speech remains unchanged when the reporting verb is in the present or future tense. If the direct sentence contains the universal truth, note that this is the major point. If the direct sentence contains the universal truth, then it remains unchanged in the indirect speech. For example, let me give you an example of this same thing, like universal thing. The sun rises from the east. There will be no change when we will be converting it into the reported speech or indirect speech. It will remain same. Let's give a look to its examples. Hina said, I walk. Hina said that she walked. Deepak said, I am having tea. Deepak said that he was having tea. Aisha said, Honey has left for school. Aisha said that Honey had left for the school. Vidisha said, Anaya took pasta. Vidisha said that Anaya had taken pasta. They told we were living in Paris. They told that they had been living in Paris. Ramesh said, I will go to Sri Lanka. Ramesh said that he would go to Sri Lanka. Aishwarya said they will be watering plants. Aishwarya said that they would be watering plants. Now let's talk about the question based sentences like that are known as the interrogative sentences. How we make those sentences converted into the indirect one. In case the sentences starts from the WH family, like questions, what, why, when, where, like these, then no extra conjunction is used. For example, Ravi said, what is Hina doing? Ravi asked me what Hina was doing. Isha said, will she come for lunch? Isha asked if she would come for lunch. The boy asked, where do you stay? The boy inquired where I stayed. So, I think that till now you got the idea of what is direct speech and the indirect speech, that is also known as the reported speech. So let's try some questions. There are some examples, like some questions that are given into the direct speech and we have to convert them into the indirect speech. There are 2 examples on the top that are already done, but the rest 3 questions are left. So this is your homework today, that you have to do all these 3 sentences as your homework, and you have to put those answers into the comment section of our video. So thank you so much. I hope you like this video. Please do like, share and comment on this video, and I hope that it will help you a lot. Bye bye.